right, Shalom, Shalom. It's Brother Yatazah, hero of Israel. Shalom, Salakia. Shalom, Shalom. It's Brother Yatazah, hero of Israel. Before I get started, I'd like to give all honor and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakah Kwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. We are the Israelites that the Bible speaks of. Great Millstone, Hebrew Israelite camp, has the 100% truth. All right. You can find us on the YouTube, also on the highways and byways. Matthew chapter 22 and 9. Scripture say to what? Go out and preach the kingdom of the gospel. All right. To you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans. The 12 tribes of Israel, the sons of Jacob. Jacob had a twin brother in the womb of his mother Rebekah. That man named Esau, Genesis 25 and 25 says it came out all red like a hairy garment. This is the so-called white man today. Some of our people look so-called white, but that is because we took their wives in times past and of the other nations in times past. Our children look like other nations. All right. We're here prophesying in the Most High God's name, Yahweh. All right. Meaning he exists. Yah, meaning he, which is the 10th letter of the Hebrew alphabet. Hawa means to be or to exist. All right. Yahweh, Ba'ashem means in the name. Ba meaning in, Sham, name. Yahweh Shai, Hamashayach is who you call Jesus Christ. His name is, it's not how you pronounce his name. First off, Jesus Christ is Greek. The New Testament written in the Greek. That translation from the Hebrew from the Greek to the Hebrew is Joshua in the written text, in the English text. But we're talking about the ancient language of the Old Testament, the language of the Hebrews. Yahweh Shai, Hamashayach, who you call today Jesus Christ ignorantly because you don't understand the true pronunciation of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, Rakah Kwadash. All right, Rakah means spirit, holy, is Kwadash. Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem, Rakah Kwadash. All right, the truth being revealed in these latter days, in the last days, the end of the so-called white man's kingdom. We are in America, Babylon the Great. Revelation 13 to 16 says he calls us both small and great, rich and poor to receive. All right, the R5, Karagma, Salakia, which is the RFID chip. All right. The hour of temptation, which shall come upon the whole earth. All right, like Elder Apostle Har recently was speaking on. He said he was speaking about computer chips, processing systems. All right, these things will be used to forward. All right, these are one of the many antichrists which were created by the so-called white man Esau, the red man, however you want to call him. All right, the devil, the conqueror, the conquistador, the Spaniard. Some of our people are scattered in Spain as well, but the majority of the elect are here in America, Babylon Great. But the Lord has brought the elect here to receive their judgment, to either repent or turn away from the Most High God. Two-thirds of the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans will be coerced into taking the RFID chip, which will not just happen in the soils of America, Babylon the Great. All right. Just to make it clear. All right. You have some of our brothers and sisters in Africa, from the diaspora, the scattering. All right. The Caribbeans, in China, Japanese, which is just a few. Well, actually, because our people are scattered everywhere. not a few, the majority, which those are the majority that will be condemned. Just like here in that great city, Babylon, the bloody city. All right, because they will not hear the gospel, they will not hear the words of the Lord, the voice of the Lord, which is through his servants, the prophets, starting with our elders and apostles of Great Millstone. All right, we are nothing but we are servants. And that is all. We don't take these positions like these other Hebrew Israelite camps, calling themselves chief priest, Grand Poobah, Bishop Nathaniel, like from the IUIC, ISUPK, Sakari. All right, what they have is a contract with the so-called white man to introduce wayward doctrines, 501c3 tax exempt status, like your local Christian and Catholic pastor. They're paid to lie to you. All right. So we're here to give you the 100% truth, and that's what one of the heads of formerly from Sakari, Deacon Hakai, he was speaking on the 2/3, the scattered. All right, but right, like starting with our elders and apostles of Great Millstone. All right, we're here to we're the cleanup men of the truth. All right, or the offscoring of the earth, like Paul the apostle said. All right, we shall be hated by all nations for the Most High God's name's sake. All right, we're hated because we're telling you the truth. We're hated because not because we're doing our own will, but it is because there's a spirit behind the Lord causing us to speak, just like Elder Apostle Hall recently spoke about. All right, there's a spirit behind sickness, behind. All right, for you Jakes that are still out there eating pork. All right, and all right, that's why you get gout. That's why you got. All right, you deal with disease because there's a spirit behind that. All right, that's what Elder Apostle Hall recently spoke about. They call them psychological, because psychological effects, but really those are demons. Those are spirits, energy. There's an energy behind everything. All right, and you're only going to be overcome if your mind ain't right. If you're not right with the Lord, meaning, all right, you don't have that hedge of protection around you. All right, and that just means you weren't. That means you were not destined. Predestination is in the Bible. Free will is in the Bible, but 2/3 have chosen the free will to not hear the word of the Lord. All right, lest they be reproved, lest they learn something for a damn change. All right, lest you mend your ways, which that word is yatab. All right, in the book of Jeremiah, which just means to make good. All right, because you had all this grace, you had how many years has the Lord fed you, and you don't acknowledge Him. All right, because it's not hard. All right, to keep the Sabbath. It's not hard to choose something other than some filthy pork. All right, it's not hard to keep the commandments. All right, which goes into order. All right, and that's what the Lord gave the way to you so-called Black, Hispanic, Native Americans. All right. So this is about the remnant, the few that will be saved, the few that will return. All right. So there's an energy behind everything. But Esau, you see, the scriptures say that the mind is deceitful above all things. That's in the book of Jeremiah. But is a spirit in man, which is this, if you want to get technical, they call it the spirit of animation. All right, that's how your limbs move. That's how you know how to go turn left and turn right. That's how you know right from wrong, because it's the energy. I'm using worldly terms. The energy inside you. Okay, so the Lord gives you a choice, but ultimately it goes down, which the small hats, the ish people, they call it the evil inclination. All right, but it's about the spirit, right? So these damn devils, these Edomites, Esau Edom, the so-called white man, he'll try to create a computer, all right, and try to put like Elder Apostle Tahar said, there's a spirit behind all of that. There's a spirit behind all this damn pollution that these devils do. All right, because that behind GMOs, that's too weak the senses, to weaken the mind. All right, to stupefy the masses. All right, and that's why they have to put more filth in the food, because they know that they have the ability to choose something else, to choose something cleaner, to choose something more right. They don't have to go and get the 20 pack to get some rice and to just so they can get through the day. All right, they can get the pure, the unprocessed things, and even those unprocessed things, a lot of those things. See, they know. All right, about taking care of your body, which you Jakes don't know about. All right, and that's part of Satan's plan as well, to attack your body. All right, whether you sleep, whether you're right, whether you sleep enough, whether you all right, whether you're taking whether you're eating defiled or undefiled foods. All right, when you're eating it. All right, because the body needs time to absorb those nutrients. This is not medical advice. This is just free use. This is just we're using this in reference uh, to biblical references. We're using biblical references and lining them up with what we say. All right, because the Lord said that your body is your temple. All right, so that is Satan's plan. AI. All right, which is artificial. See, you got to listen to that, to what that artificial means. Artificial means that man intervened to make it something else. All right, man made. The computers do not have spirit. They don't have a spirit in them. All right, that's part of the great deception. All right, Esau says, okay, they got quantum this and quantum that, quintillion years. They can compute quintillion years. That's not even, Esau's a bullshitter. Esau's full of shit. Okay? Because first off, the earth is not even that old. All right? If you know what I'm talking about. All right? The earth is not even that old. All right? These damn devils are liars, and they've been found liars. All right? But that's pretty much it. So there is a spirit behind that AI stuff. But those things are all Esau programs it that way. All right. So whatever the computer says to do, that's what the computer does. Okay. Unless it is shown otherwise. Because right now, that's how it works. Coding. When you know about coding, all right, programming languages, that's how it works. You create, and that's why Esau loves the computers, because he uses that towards his counsels. That's computers involve knowing every possible outcome of a thing. That's how computers work, by algorithms, by okay, patterns. All right, but Elder Pastor was right. There's a spirit behind that. All right, but what Esau can't do, he can't put he can't do what the Most High God did with man and flesh. Because if he was able to do that, then he would put your damn a damn robot uh in your body, a robotic mind in your body, and you would say f the spirit. And that's what he's saying he's gonna do with the charagma, because it's bugged out. Esau is bugged out and he knows he can't go that far. So he has to create a cheap version, like these Moabites. They make the cheap version of what Esau makes. All right, so he's gonna do the cheap version of the Most High God created man and putting the spirit in him, which he's gonna do it a different way. He's gonna give you the charagma. All right, many will take it, and that people are gonna use that as a crutch, and it's gonna be to their fall, because that's what technology is. It's a crutch. All right. But anyways, so we're gonna go to this is the header of this chapter is Jeremiah warns against trust in Pharaoh. Jeremiah 37:1. It reads in the king. Uh, and he reigned, the king Zedekiah, the son of Josiah, instead of Coniah, the son of Jehoiakim, which he made to reign. Which he made king. He made king to reign. Salakia, Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, in the land of Judah. All right, so that's what the king of Babylon did. He removed Zedekiah, and where Zedekiah reigned instead of Coniah, the son of Jehoiakim, in the land of Judah. So it reads, Waya Malak, Tazadak Yahweh, Ban Ya'ash Yahweh, Tachath, Kan Yahweh, Ban Yahweh Yaquayim, Ashar Ha Malyak, Naba Kadar Atazar, Malak Babal Ba Ratazah Yahawada. Verse 2 says, And He did not hear, he and the servants and the people of the land, unto the words of the Lord, which was spoken in the hand of Jeremiah the prophet. Wala'ah Shammai Hawa Wa Abad Yawa Wa'aim Ha'ratazah Al Dabaryah Yahweh Ashar Dabar Bayad Yaram Yahweh Ha Nabaya'ah. Shalom to the hopeful elect, starting with the 144,000. All right, elect of the nation of Israel, the 12 tribes. All right, which consists of you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans, the heads, the teachers. All right, the servants. There's an order. All right, from those from the head unto the toe, which we're all part of that body. All right, the least are the most needful. All right. Yeah, our elders, they do good work. All right. We go into the Greek, we go into the Hebrew. All right. We make videos to edify, but sometimes it's the least of the brethren that sometimes we need some of these brothers that do the videos and exhortation. All right. I personally, I live by that, and we just need and that lifts up our spirits. All right. In these times that we're in. All right. So the least of them, all right, like how I said, all right. He that exalteth himself shall be abased, and he that is humbleth himself shall be made great. Not in this time, but that's speaking of all right, the how everyone has a position in this thing. All right. That's why Paul the Apostle said that one is not greater than the other, but it all works in tandem. All right, let's look at that word tangent. All right, tangent, definition. Tangent refers to, or Salaki, that's not it. Tandem. Okay, Salaki. Tandem. Oh no, that's just tandem bicycle. Tandem. 2 out of 3. This is an adverb. It says one after or behind another. Tandem, consisting of things or having parts arranged one behind the other, working or occurring in conjunction with each other. All right. So that's how the Spirit works, working in conjunction. All right. To edify. All right. To give charge unto the remnant. All right. You have the 144,000, like I said. All right. Which we say shalom. We give our peace to them, and the great multitude, which the majority of those will be in the land of America, Babylon the Great. A small remnant, Isaiah 11:11 says that there will be a small remnant besides those in America, Babylon the Great, that will be delivered throughout the whole earth. But as a whole, 2/3 of our people here and throughout the earth, the Lord is going to destroy when he brings World War III, martial law, FEMA camps, thermonuclear fire, which he's going to bring to America, Babylon the Great. The Lord is going to scorch the earth. All right. And as it is written, the remnant, the elect, those that follow the Lamb whatsoever goeth, meaning they follow that's Yahweh Shai, that's the Most High God, the scriptures, the spirit of truth, not the spirit of error, which is manifest in these other philosophies. All right, they have form of godliness, but deny the power thereof. Okay, so that's what the Lord said would happen. Okay, and that book of remembrance is us. They call it in the world. They call it positive affirmations or reminders. When you got family, loved ones. All right, when you see them, you salute them. You all right, you give them a good word. All right. Sometimes you got, like we do when we do our edification, our videos. Sometimes we got little tidbits that we throw at each other. You know, throwing that spiritual alley oop. All right. Just like when you got close loved ones, there's a certain way you talk with them. There's all right, and they get the lingo. All right. You got particular sayings that you only know amongst your loved ones. All right. Or remember this. And you reminisce sometimes because there's a positive way to do it and there's a negative way to do it. We look at the negatives in the past. What you do, you end up replaying those things and that are in your mind in the past, which brings you down. But we have moments that you have shared with your loved ones. Those are the ones that are greatest to cherish, greater to cherish. All right, because that keeps a connection, spiritual connection amongst your people. All right, just like you got the Southern Kingdom, you got the Northern Kingdom. All right, you got a particular way that these Northern Kingdom tribes talk, the Hispanic tribes. All right, we got little lingo, just like Jake. Jake has got his own lingo. Uh, the Negroes, Latinos, of indigenous Tainos. Those are the Puerto Ricans. Taino. They were known as Taino Indians, Seminole Indians, the Incas, the Mayas, the all right, the children of the slaves, which are those are Israelites, and they were named. They were given like it says in Deuteronomy chapter 28, you shall be called a proverb, a byword, all right, scum, criminal, and you know whatever. These are all right. We were called black, brown. We were called colors. We didn't. We were following. We speak the language of the oppressor. When our language was the Hebrew, we lost our heritage. But now the Lord is giving it back. All right, and we'll deliver the remnant, be it the chariots of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right, those dots in the sky that you see, the lights, the bright lights. Those are the modern day UFO UAPs. Those are the holy angels watching the goings of man. Because in that day, the Lord said He's going to intervene and beam up the remnant after the mark of the beast is instituted, which is the RFID chip. All right, 2/3 are going to take it because that's the plan of the wicked to seduce 2/3 and the world, which that's going to work on our behalf because it's we know that the kingdom is nigh, our deliverance is nigh when that happens. All right. So that's what scriptures say. When you see strange occurrences, when you hear strange things, this is a strange thing. A strange thing. to a so-called Catholic, to a so-called Christian, because they don't know the Bible. They don't read the Bible. They don't know the word of the Lord. All right. That's how Jake will have it. Let somebody else tell you what is in your holy book, your historical document. That is our historical document. The land of Jerusalem. It's not the land of the Gentiles, the heathens. That is our land. Some of our people are over there now, but it's a few of them. They're mingled amongst these other nations that have, like it says in the book of Jeremiah, set up thrones round about Jerusalem, meaning they set up shop. All right, because that is what the prophetic word says. All right, but anyways, that's enough of that. It's all through the Spirit. So that's why the Lord said, the God of them who keep my commandments and precepts. All right, because the Word is a guide, the Spirit is a guide. It's what's in man. It's not the mind, because your brain can go off. That's your heart, your lab. The heart is deceitful above all things. All right. And this is that message Paul the Apostle was trying to get through you Jakes, through your head. And that's what we're doing. We don't automatically tell you Jakes, you got to have fringes, you got to keep the Passover, you got to, all right, do this and do that right away. We got to build you up. But that's part of the way, keeping the commandments, having faith, because a Christian will tell you faith is all you need. But they ignore the fact that James, the brother of Yahushai, who you call Jesus Christ, his name is Yahushai. That's the true pronunciation, the true name in the Hebrew, and the true pronunciation. Yahushai Hamashayach. Yah means he in the Hebrew, Hawashai, deliverer. Matthew 1:1 says he shall deliver his people from their sins. Because we're in these decrepit bodies. We need salvation. We need grace. But we have an obligation as well, because our forefathers swore an oath with Moses, which was a blood oath. It was an oath by word. And the promises that the Lord gave to our father Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. Deuteronomy 28. That's why Deuteronomy 28 says you're going to have an evil eye towards your brethren. All right. You're going to be always oppressed. Your ways will not prosper, because this is not our world. All right. You're going to have particular living conditions, the mildew, the blasting, the mildew. All right. But guess what? You Jakes, does the Lord not has he not sustained you? And how do you thank him? By continuing in wickedness, all right. And 2/3, that's what they're doing. They will not repent. And that's because it's not in their spirit. So we can't, we're not here to force you to seek the Most High God, to seek His word. All right. If you're going off, then the Lord made you go off. The Lord can turn you you can be in the truth one day, and then the Lord can turn you into a mo, and then put you to death whenever. All right. So we understand all that. We understand the work on the left hand side, meaning these demonic spirits, these seducing spirits, which come in the form of men. All right. Because that's like El Apostle Hart recently spoke about. All right, they call it sickness. They call it psychological trauma. But no, these are their spirits. These are energies. All right, overcoming your mind and your body, parasites, because you're not eating via the dietary law. All right, because the dietary law, the law of Moses is not just for Moses' sake or because the Lord says so. These are things that are good for your body. Fish with scales, which are lawful. No swine. All right, no shrimp, no crab, no lobster. These are the cockroaches of the sea. Oysters are created to filter the water. That's why they're unlawful. That's why the Lord said, if it doesn't have fins or scales, don't eat it. Because they're bottom feeders. They're made to just like the swine. The swine will eat anything. It's made that's the trash can of the earth. All right. The Sabbath day, the seventh day. All right, which we go by the moon, the new moon. All right, when the moon is not visible, that is the new moon. That is the beginning of the month. 7 days after that is the Sabbath day, and seven after. That's every 7 days is the Sabbath day after that. First day of the month, 7, 14, 21, 28, and the 30th day is the next month. All right, because your body needs rest. You need to repose. You need a day of repose to gather your thoughts. Jeremiah 37 and 3 says, and he sent out the king Zedekiah unto Jehukal, the son of Shelemiah, and unto Zephaniah, the son of Maaseiah, the priest, unto Jeremiah the prophet, to say, pray now, uh, even upon us unto the Lord our God. Vayishalach Hamalach Tazadak Yahweh Tha Yahweh call Ban Shalamya Wa'ata Tazapan Yahweh Ban Ma Ashaya HaKahan Al Yaram Yahweh Ha Nabaya'a La Amar Ha Thapalal Na'a Ba'ad Nawa Al Yahweh Allahayanawa. Jeremiah 37 and 4. And Jeremiah entered, and he went out in the midst of the people, and they had not placed unto him to the house of holding, which is a prison, the house of the all right, inward. So it reads, Wa Yaram Yahweh Ba'a Waya Taza'a Bathak Ha'aim Wala'a Nathanawa Atawa Bayath Ha Kala'a. Salakia, just bear with me 1 second. Salakia, brothers and sisters. All right. Akim and Aquath. That's how we say brother. Akia, which is Achia in the Hebrew. Achath, sister. And we're not talking about Yiddish, okay? Chodi and what do they call it? Let's see, we can look that up. I'm talking about the pure language. So they call it Ak, which is actually Ach. Achia is my brother. All right. Chatia is my sister. All right. Salakia. So it says, verse 5, the army of Pharaoh was gone out from Egypt, and he heard the Chaldeans besieged, and he heard that the Chaldeans had besieged, or Salakia, and he heard the Chaldeans, that the Chaldeans had besieged against Jerusalem. Uh, Unto its tidings, as in they heard the report. All right. You could say tidings or report. All right. Sometimes tidings is Bashar, which is representing the gospel, which literally means flesh. It's another way to say like kinsman. All right. Or the people. All right. Which people is actually I'm. All right. That's concerning a nation, a all right, a clan, tribe, a conglomerate of tribes. All right. But this is the report that the Pharaoh, king of Egypt, heard that the Chaldeans besieged Jerusalem, like it says here in the King James Version. And they ascended up from upon Jerusalem. Wachayel, Pariah, Ya Taza'ah, Mama Tazarium, Wayeshamaywa, Ha Kashadium, Ha Tazarium, Al Yerushalayim, Atha, Shemayim, Wa'alwa, Waya'alwa, Ma'al, Yerushalayim. Verse 6 says, and it came to pass the word of the Lord unto Jeremiah the prophet to say, Why Yahya the bar Yahweh al Ram Yahweh Ha Nabayah La Amar. Thus saith the Lord, the God of Israel, thus shalt thou say unto the king of Judah, he that sent out you unto me to seek, even I. There's a way to say to inquire, which that word inquire is actually, let's see, let's look that up. Bakwash, all right. The Rash means to seek. Bakwar means to let's see, to inquire. Yeah, an inquiry. All right. Hakwar, to search. All right. Quara, to call for. The ancient language, the Lashawan Kwadash, meaning the tongue holy. All right. To seek even I, La Darashnaya. Behold, uh, the mighty men of Pharaoh, which is Hayal. All right. Hayal, it's another way. Doesn't actually mean army. All right. It means strength, power, might, a force, a host, ability, virtue, integrity, strength, efficiency. All right. Let's look at that. The root word hawal, to twist, to whirl. All right. Able men, able-bodied men, which that's what Esau does with his hosts. You know, you go through physical exams, you go through mental exams, and then you're accepted into the host. All right. And you got to be able to move. All right, in battle. All right. When you join Esau's army. All right. You got to be able to discern. All right, like the scriptures say, time for peace, time for war. They got posts set up. They got all right. When you're in Esau's host in his army, you got surveillance. All right, you got all right. Your mind is on the at the they're at the forefront. All right, their eyes are on the forefront of every battle. All right, which they got particular parts. All right, but that's what happens when you're in the host. All right, in any army. All right, in the wilderness, you had Moses, the Levites in the middle. You had the Judites at the forefront, and the other southern kingdom. You had Dan at the rearward, and you had the northern kingdom at the to the north, to the south. All right, and some of them guarded the Levites, the tabernacle as well. All right. So when you're in battle, there's time to amp up. There's a time, there's a time to get rest. There's a time, all right, for everything. All right. That's what happens when Esau, for example, Esau sends his men out to war. They're gonna have MREs, which it means meals ready to eat. All right, you eat it in the morning. You get your all right, you get the nutrients, and you hop in the battle. What do they call it? Gun ho. All right, let's get that real quick. That term's kind of funny. Gung ho means extremely enthusiastic, energetic, or zealous, sometimes to an excessive degree. It originated from the Chinese term gunji, meaning to work together, which was used by U.S. Marines in World War II. All right, gung ho or gunji, or I don't know if that says gun he. All right, so that's how it works. All right, you got to take the bitter with the sweet, the sour with the all right. Like you say, if it burns, all right, you throw some salt on the wound, and that's it. All right, you got to use the elements. All right, when you're out there, and all right, when the troops were out there in Vietnam and all that, they had to use the herbs, medicines of the earth, like the Lord said. All right, that's what we do in this thing, in the truth. All right, which is why the Lord said the Lord wasn't lying when He said your body is your temple. All right, and we're feeding the spirit via these sound words, via sound words. All right, to the power of the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bashem Rakakwadash. All right, sound words. All right, Salakia. Hawal. The mighty men of Pharaoh, that come out unto you to help Izarah, which is where you get that name Eliezer from, which is Allah Izar. All right, meaning God helps. All right. It says, shall return unto their own land, even unto Egypt. All right. Ka Amar Yahweh, Alahaya Yashar Allah, Ka Tha Amar Wa, Al Malak Yahweh, Hashalach Atakam, Al Ya, La Darashnaya, Hana, Hayel, Pariah, Hayat Taza'ah, Lakam, La Isara Shad, La Ratazawa, Matazarium. Verse 8. Verse 8 says, And they shall return, the Chaldeans, and shall fight against the city this, and shall take it and burn it upon fire. Washabwa ha kashadium wana lakamwa al ha ayar haza'a walakada washarpa ba'ash. Verse 9. Salakia. Just bear with me 1 second. Bear with me a moment. Akim. Trying to get situated. Anyways, Jeremiah 37 and 9. Thus saith the Lord, do not deceive. Do not let there be deceit unto your souls. All right? Because that word is ta shawa, which the word is shawa'ah, meaning to deceive. Don't confuse that with nasha'ah, meaning to bear up or to lift up. All right? The word is shawa'ah. But here it's inflected. It's an inflected root. All right. It's in the verb form, the speech. It's in the verb form, second person, masculine plural. All right. To say, surely they shall go from upon us, the Chaldeans, because they shall not go. So what does that mean? All right, you may be confused right now. All right, let's look at the other translations. All right. So let's go to the NIV. This is what the Lord says: "Do not deceive yourselves, thinking the Babylonians will surely leave us. They will not." All right. So that's what the Lord said, that He's going to bring that hell, that He brought that hell upon the southern kingdom, which during that time consisted of Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Simeon. All right, mainly Judah, Benjamin, because the Levites are scattered everywhere, basically. The Simeonites, they're scattered in. There's a few of them left during that time. All right, and they're also all right. They were also indeed. They're scattered also in the. They're scattered, pretty much because you can find them. You know, Simeonites and which are so-called Dominicans anywhere. You know, West Africa and all right, because our people are scattered. All right. So it says, Ka Amar Yahweh al Fa Sha'awa Napashat Yakam La Amar Halak Yalakwa Ma'al Yanawa Ha Kashadiam Kayala'a Yalakwa. Jeremiah 37:10. Because lo, that's Salakia. Because if you smite unto all of the mighty men of the Chaldeans that fight unto you, as in against you, and there be a remainder of the in them men um thrust through. The quar means actually literally to stab. A man in his tent, he shall rise and he shall burn unto the city this upon fire. All right, woo! Because that's the Lord. That's what the Lord did. All right. Not that it actually happened in the way I'm about to describe it, but the Lord literally said, if you or he didn't literally say, but he was basically saying, even if you, all right, let's say you get the upper hand, all right. You think let's say you trained all month because Jeremiah told you, all right, the Chaldeans were coming. All right, let's say you planned every single outcome. All right, and maybe you prevailed. All right, and there was left but a few of them, and you thrust them through, all right. And let's say because Jake was cocky back then. Jake is still cocky, but Jake was probably like, oh, the Lord, he ain't gonna thrust us out. He promised them to David that King David that there would always be a lamp amongst us. Don't worry about it. That's what the elders would say. All right. But the Lord said, even if you thrust them through, the Lord, basically what the Lord did, he basically put a a, a how do you say it? vengeance in their heart. All right. Now, this is the Lord just speaking in hypotheticals. Just he's trying to prove a point. All right. And it probably happened that way. Jake probably thought he had the upper hand. He all right, we thrust most of the Chaldeans. We're good. Let them die in their filth. Let them, you know, like it says in the Bible, in the scriptures, there shall not be none left of them from he that pisseth against the wall. you know, and that shows you the Lord has a sense of humor, and the Hebrews had a sense of humor. The Israelites, all right. Sometimes you read the Bible and, it's kind of, there's a little humor thrown in there, even though it's talking about real events, life and death events. All right. Because we're a peculiar people. All right. Because sometimes it says, oh, they fell to their face and stuff like that. And you read about that's where, that's where you nations, you heathens, the dogs, you got your, a lot of these ideas from the Bible. Esau, his inventions, horsepower, motorcycles, because they look like horses. All right, they're built like horses. All right, when you look at a motorcycle, it's shaped like a horse. You ride it like a horse. Moab, that's where you got the, because in the scripture sometimes it says David fell to his face. That's basically a way to say that he was shocked, and he didn't actually pass out, and shit like that, stuff like that. Salakia. But that's where you see an anime. You know, they'll fall to their face, and they'll make it like into a comedic scene. All right. So the Lord said, even if you do that, all right, I'm gonna put vengeance in their heart. I'm gonna put, and that's what the Lord's gonna do with Esau. All right. When Jacob's trouble really kicks off, all right, they're gonna be like Esau's gonna be like a damn zombie. Because he can right now, I mean, when you say zombie apocalypse, you're talking about ignorance at an all-time high. And that's the times that we're living in. All right. There's wokeism is here, but ignorance is just as high as the wokeism. All right, thing. All right. The only thing that Esau has done is created a bunch of woke, ignorant zombies. And that's part of the New World Order. The illuministic all right, players in the background. All right. And it's in the music, it's in the movies, all right? And we're speaking it. All right? So it's not a secret. All right? We're not telling you nothing new. All right? This is not, you know, we're not making this up. Okay? We can't make this up. All right? So there's no such thing as coincidence. There's no such thing. You see, there's something in the world that is not visible that moves things. All right. Let's hold on. Salakia. What's that word? Animatronics. Animatronics or electronically controlled puppets that move fluidly and are designed to look lifelike. So that's what Esau is doing with the masses through ignorance, through fear. All right. Deception. All these things are being used as tactics. All right. To war against the mind. And behind that, all right, there's a goal behind that. All right. The goal is to blur the lines. All right, to blur the lines, and the number one target is you, Jace, so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans. All right, to war against the mind, against the body. That's why the Lord said, "He that endures unto the end, the same shall be saved." All right. He said, "In your patience, possess your souls." All right. And if you understand that the Lord said that if you're not one who can kill the body, but who can kill the spirit, because the Lord said, all right, in the book of Sirach, Ecclesiasticus, Sharyach, which is by interpretation, means by interpretation, the noble one, all right, which was Yahushua, son of Sirach, Jesus, son of Sirach, all right, which was the author of Ecclesiasticus. Um, so this man spoke about, all right, that which men do not discern, all right, the spirit, all right. But anyways, that is the idea. The idea is to is for the 2/3 to keep going off, to push them further onto the edge of all right, into the path that they're already in. But the plan is to make it seem like everyone is off. All right, which is why the Lord said that they will separate themselves from you. All right, which is why you have these other Hebrew Israelite camps, IUIC, ISUPK, Sakari. All right, their followers want to be part of they want to be part of a following. They want to be around other Israelites, no matter what. It doesn't matter what they teach. They just you know they just like to go to the cookouts. They want to be with the aqua. You know, and their mind is not in the right place. All right, because they're not following the right doctrine. IUIC still teaches what Christianity teaches. That there's a spirit, there's a place under the earth called hell. And there's a man dressed in red poking people with a staff. That's crazy. Hell is a condition. Hell is the grave. The afterlife is the spiritual realm. That's what the scriptures say. When the spirit leaves, it returns in the book of St. Job. It says it returns to he that formed him. The Lord compares man, all right, onto plants, all right. Since it's right up until when the seed sprouts and it grows, and the Lord has a time when that seed, that when that plant withers away. Such is the cycle of men. All right, that's in the book of Psalms. All right, man liveth to be at least 50 to 70 years. When back then, men lived 100, 200, 500 years because man had not seeked out many inventions. Because now man has seeked many inventions. How do you have a house and it's made out of 1,000 different chemicals? Back then, your house was made of wood, mud, okay, tempered glass. Now it's made. Now you got fibers, insulation. You got lead paint. You got you know, that's nonsense. All right. So this is why uh right? When you go to the Oriental East, you go to South America, you go to the indigenous populations. They know that there's herbs heal, herbs sustain the body. Their women, their men live to be over 100. Here, you'll be lucky if you live till you're 50 or 8 or 70. All right, but that's because everything is artificial. All right, even that rice that you buy, even that fruit, that apple, that banana has what? Pesticides. Your apple has wax covering, and uh, the creation is everything's defiled. Nothing is sacred. All right, and Nana said that. He said not even your girl is sacred because she's out there getting popped by another man for some money. But anyways, Jeremiah 37 and 10. Kaya ein hak yatam kol chayal kashadiyam hana lachamyam atakam wana sha'arwa bum anashium mataquarium ayash ba hawa yakwamwa washarafwa ata ha'ayar haza'a ba'ash. Jeremiah, next head of this chapter is Jeremiah in prison. Right? So the Lord said, even if you smite all the Chaldeans, you thrust them through, all right, the Lord is going to put a zombie like spirit in them. And they're still going to get back. All right? Jeremiah 37 and 11 says, and it came to pass in which they ascended up the host of the Chaldeans from upon Jerusalem, from before the host of Pharaoh, Wahaya, Baha, Alath, Hayal, Ha Kashadium, Ma'al, Yerushalayim, Ma Panya, Hayal, Paraya. Jeremiah 37 and 2. And he went out, Jeremiah, from Jerusalem to go into the land, or to go to the land of Benjamin, um, to slip away, because the word halak, it means to be smooth, to be slippery, to slip away in that sense. From there, uh, from the midst of the people, Masham Patak Ha'ain Wayataza'a Yaram Yahweh Ma Yerushalayim La Lakath Arataza Banyaman Lachalak Masham Bathak Ha'ain. All right, and it's not lachaim, it's lachayayam, meaning unto the living. All right, which is what these small hats say, but all right, they've hijacked basically like other religions. They've just been hijacked by perpetrators. All right, the ancient ways defiled, perverted, twisted. All right, now like it says in the book of Jeremiah. All right, they call that good, bad, and that which is good they call bad. All right, light changes to darkness, darkness changing into night. Jeremiah 37:13. And and it came to pass he was in the gate of Benjamin, and there so Jeremiah fled to go into amongst the Benjamites. All right, the West Indies. I'm talking about the people. I'm not talking about the place. Those people were in the land of Israel because they were Israelites. When I say West Indies, West Indians, I'm talking about the people that were brought to those lands in slavery and the sub-Saharan slave trade and the um, transatlantic slave trade, Spain, Portugal, all these were ports to sell the indigenous men and women, and even unto today, unto the day we're spoiled, robbed, we're uh, hidden in holes, meaning we're in these other philosophies. All right, that's Isaiah chapter 42. They're snared. They're taken into holes, into prisons, because the false philosophies. That's a prison. Okay, because you're praying to who? Virgin Mary. The Lord didn't say to pray to Virgin Mary. That's not in the Bible. Yes, she was a blessed woman. She was blessed. You know, she bare the son of the Lord via the Spirit. All right, but the Lord didn't say to worship no damn woman. All right, the women have a part to play, as in they raise the children, they educate them, teach them the ways of their fathers, the ways of the mothers. All right, you had mothers in Israel. That's a term. All right, and you still got that today to an extent. You know, Deborah in the scriptures, she was known as a mother to Israel. All right, not that she led the host. She didn't lead the host. All right, but she taught. She just like what our mothers taught us. They taught us shut the hell up. There was a time to speak. All right. The father taught you to how to be a man. All right. Order. All right. That's what this thing is about. And Jake still has, like it says in the book of St. Malachi, the residue of the spirit. Meaning they're there, but it's not all there. All right. We got some screws loose. Why? Because the Lord left us. All right. So we're not perfect. We're not, you know, we're messed up. Because that's what the Lord did to us, because we fell from the ancient way, the ancient path. All right. Now we're trying to learn. We're trying to have other nations teach us our ancient customs. That's a damn joke. So it says, and it came to pass, he was in the gate of Benjamin, and there was the Lord of holding, meaning the warden. Let's say warden, Baal Pakwadah. Quad means to visit. All right, to account for. And there was Urijah, the son of Shelemiah, the son of Hananiah, and he took hold unto Jeremiah the prophet to say, unto the Chaldeans, thou hast fallen, meaning thou hast been enticed, thou has you're not for us, you're for the Chaldeans. That's what Jake was telling Jeremiah, because he was warning them about what was coming. He was telling them about the Chaldeans. That's what you call passing the buck. Passing the buck, all right. And Jeremiah, he had enough, all right. There's even a time when the Jeremiah, the prophet, he told the Lord, you know what, just off me, just delete me, all right, take me out, all right, because I can't deal with this. Just like Jonah the prophet, he told the Lord, you know, he said put me to death. I can't handle this responsibility, all right, because that burden was heavy in his mind, all right. So it reads, Wayahaya, Hawa, Basha'ar, Banyaman, Washam, Baal, Pakwada, Wa Shamwa, Ya Ra'a, Yaya, Ban, Shalamya, Ban, Hanaya, Wayatapash, Ata, Yaram Yahawa, Hanabaya'a, La Amar, Al, Ha Kashadiam, Ata, Nepal. Jeremiah 37 and 14. And he said, Jeremiah, it is a false thing. I have not fallen uh, beside the Chaldeans. That's another way to say with the Chaldeans. And have not hearkened unto them. And he took hold Urijah upon Jeremiah, and he brought him in unto the princes, which were the nobles, which were the sons of the Judites, the Benjamites, the Simeonites, the Levites, mainly Judah, which are the so-called African Americans today. The black Jews, the black Messiah. All right. You go to Guatemala, they got it. They got images of a black Jesus. We're not talking about no. This is not the white. We're not talking about the white man's religion. We're talking about the biblical descendants, the blood of Christ, not the European, not the the Chinaman. Okay, the people of the Lord. So it reads, Waya Hamar, Yuram Yahweh, Shakwar, Ayan, Naya, Nepal, Al Ha Kashadyam, Wala'a, Shamai, Al Yawa, Waya Tapash, Yabra'a, Yaya, Ba Yaram Yahweh, Waya Ba'wa, Al Hasharyam. Jeremiah 37:15. So the princes were the nobles. All right. Judah. Judah. You know, like these other camps say. You know. Jeremiah 37:15. And they were indignant, the princes, uh, upon Jeremiah, and they smote him, and they smote unto him, and placed him unto the house of holding, which is the prison, the house of Jonathan the scribe, because unto it they have made it to the house of holding, meaning they took the chamber of the scribe Jonathan and they made it into a makeshift cell, which reads Waya Watazab Wa Ha Sharyam Al Yaram Yahweh Wa Hakwa Athawa Wa Nathan Wa Athawa Bayath Ha Asar Bayath Yahweh Nathan Ha Sapar Kaya Athawa Ashawa La Bayath Ha Kala'ah. Just like the high priest smote Paul the apostle. Paul the apostle said, "May the Lord smite thee, O whited wall." All right, because he smote him contrary to the law. The law says, the law of Moses, the Torah, Tawara. That means direction, instruction. It means when he said that, he was referencing the law where it says you have to hear a man's cause before you make assumptions. Okay, because that man could be a lunatic. That man could be retarded. He may be slow. So it's supposed to be a case. You're supposed to, all right, which it's not up to the individuals. There was a court. There was courts, magistrates to handle that. It wasn't up to the common people. All right, and the so-called white man will tell you that you can't take vigilante justice. All right, you're supposed to let the law handle that. All right. If that person is crazy, then you got to let the crazy person. You got to let him be crazy. Leave that man alone. Okay. That's why Paul the Apostle spoke about the law of the land. All right. Agreeing with your adversary quickly when thou art in the way. The volume of the book, which is written in Yahushai Hamashayach, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakakwadash. All right. Great Millstone, Hebrew Israelite Camp. Jeremiah 37:16. Because he entered Jeremiah into the house of the well, and unto the cabins. Let's look at that word for cabin. That word is chana, which is where you get the word encampment, machana. So we entered into the dungeon, to the places of holding, and dwelt there Jeremiah days many. Kaya ba'a Yaram Yahweh al bayath habar wa'al ha chanyath wayashab sham Yaram Yahweh yum yum rab yum. Jeremiah 37:17. And he sent out the king Zedekiah, and he took him, and he inquired unto him the king in his house in secret, and he said, is there a word from the Lord? And he said, Jeremiah, there is. And he said, in the hand of the king of Babylon, it is given. All right, so Jeremiah, the prophet Jeremiah, passed the bad news. All right, you can imagine how that happened, that account. All right, the king Zedekiah, which eventually King Zedekiah, when he was taken by the Babylonians, he had his eyes plucked out. And that's what happened to Jake. It's not a new thing. All right. We go to no matter where your Jake is at, Puerto Rico, the Caribbeans, all right, Mexico, all right. Jake is just dies in the most horrible ways. That's why this book of Psalms says that by the wells are our bones buried. Our bones are buried among in holes, because when you live in those type of places, you don't get any proper burial. You don't get uh, um, the type of chances you might get in this society, and that's enticing. But that's that's uh, that's what you call destiny. Okay, that's what you call God's plan. It's not your plan. It's not the white man's plan. It's not the devil's plan. Okay, it's not the heavenly son. It's not the heavenly son's plan. Jesus Christ, Yahushai. It's God's plan, the creator, the only one that makes everything go. When he says go, it goes. He speaks it and it's done. Scriptures say the Psalms, his words are written, the words are written and settled in the heavens, meaning everything's already been written. Now it's being played out in the earth. All right. But the Lord always gives a way to repent or to seek. That's why the Lord says, seek life or death. Seek life that you may live. Okay. Jeremiah 37:17. Vayeshalach hamalak tazadak Yahweh. Vaya kwach kwachawa kwakawa. Vaya sha'ala wa. Or Salakia. Vaya sha'ala wa. Hamalak babayat wa. Basathar. Waya Amar Hayash Dabar Ma'ath Yahweh Waya Amar Yaram Yahweh Yasha Waya Amar Bayad Malak Babal Tha Nathan. Jeremiah 37:18. And he said, Jeremiah unto the king Zedekiah, what have I sinned unto thee and to thy servants and unto the people this? Because thou hast placed unto the house of holding. Waya Amar, Yaram Yahweh, Al Hamalak, Tazadak Yahweh, Ma Hata'a Thaya, Laka, Wala Ibad Yaka, Wala Aim, Hazah, Kaya, Natham, Ataya, Al Bayat Ha Kala'ah. Jeremiah 37:19. Where are your prophets, which have prophesied unto you to say, you shall not enter the king of Babylon unto thee, against thee, Salakia, which means forgive me, and against the land this, Wa aya nabaya ayakam, shar na ba'wa lakam, la amar la'a, ya ba'a malak, babal, al yakam, wa'al ha haza'ah. Jeremiah 37:20. And now, hear now, my Lord, the king, uh, to pray now, in which I shall make supplication before thee, and do not cause me to return unto the house of Jonathan the scribe, and I shall not die there. Wa'aita Shamai Na'a Adanya Hamalak the Paul Na'a Ta Kanathya, Lapanyaka, Waal, Tashabnaya, Bayath, Yahawah Hasapar, Wala'a, Amawath Shum. Jeremiah 37 and 21. And he commanded the king Zedekiah and that they should keep charge unto Jeremiah in the court of the prison. That word is matara, ma meaning of, tar means the root word is natar, means to defend, or sometimes it's written as natazar or natar. And shall be given unto him according, or salakia, a cake of bread, which is not the word for morsel. That word for morsel or piece is patha. This is just kakar means round, something round, a coin, all right, a circuit, all right. It could be used in a wide variety of applications. A place of returning, all right, so on and so forth. Unto the day from the street, from that which is left from the baker, all right, which this word baker street, that just means right, what the baker would throw away. That was an insult, because all right, that was a prophet of the Lord. That's what Jacob's always done. All right. The Lord said that they have devoured the prophets like a lion, like a devouring sword. Paul the apostle said that they were thrust asunder, they were rejected, they walked in deserts because that was their lot, that was their destiny. All right, holy men, like you read throughout the scriptures. Sometimes it says prophet, sometimes he has a name, sometimes they just called him a man of God, sometimes they just called him, all right, they called Abraham a wanderer. He was he was or sometimes they didn't even say that it was a man. They just said a certain person, all right, which those were angels that you read in the scriptures, because the angels never gave their name. All right, the angels never revealed themselves. All right. The book of Sirach says that there were men whose memorial was never that were never remembered, because it's not about that. Never mentioned. All right. So it says, until it was complete, all of the bread from the city, and he dwelt Jeremiah in the court, as in the court of the prison. All right. So that's what Zedekiah the king said. He said, okay, hold Jeremiah in, let the baker give him a piece of bread, from the excess, from the waste. All right, until all the bread of the city is gone in the siege. Waya taza hamalak tazadak Yahweh. Waya pakwadwa ata yaram Yahweh. Ba Chatazar, Ha Matara, Wa Natan, Lawa, Kakar, Laham, Layam, Ma Chatazah, Ha Apyam, Ad Thum, Kal, Halacham, Man Ha'ayar, Wayashab, Yaram Yahweh, Ba Chatazar, Ha Matara. With that is Jeremiah chapter 37, going into the Hebrew. It's Brother Yatazadak, hero of Israel. And as always, Lord willing, you were edified, giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Makak Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Mill Stone. Shalom to the hopeful elect. Starting with you, sincere Aki Menakwa. Kwame Yashar Allah, Abad Babal, Shalom.